So I like to sleep, like a lot. But there's also a lot of stuff that I need to do every single day as a medical student. And if I'm left to my own devices, then things can get painful. So I need a routine that I can follow every night to keep myself on track, and that's what I'm gonna show you guys today. From the work that I do, to the food that I eat, the skincare that I do nightly, to the calling my mom, to the bloopers at the end, I'm giving you guys the whole 9 yards for this one. So please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I hope you enjoy. So my nighttime routine typically starts with one last push to learn as much new information as possible. The honest reason for this is when it's time to go to sleep or right before my bedtime, it's pretty hard for me to focus on learning new material, so the best I can do usually is low intensity stuff or at the very most review, unless I really need to. So right now I'm just solidifying some biochemistry, keeping my camera off of course, and next I'll head into the kitchen to make my last meal of the day, and while I do that I get to call my mom, which is, as you can probably tell, one of my favorite parts of the day. ماما كيف حالك ماما؟ I'm calling about your car's extended warranty. So while all that's going on, I typically try to make a meal that's high in protein and high in fat. Today I'm going with avocados and Greek yogurt, but I don't necessarily eat the same thing every night. Just try to get something to have some protein in my system that's slow digesting overnight. The idea is you want to avoid something like whey protein, which is good sometimes because it's fast digesting, but not for overnight use. And you're gonna see that this is a pretty small meal. I eat pretty soon before this, so I don't need to have a big meal, but like I said, just something to hold me over. And with the Greek yogurt, I love to put some olive oil, some salt, rosemary, and chives. You'll see that in just a second. I think it tastes really great. I don't think it needs bread or anything. Of course, bread makes everything taste better, but I really enjoy this last meal. And here I'm gonna fill up my water bottles. I would say I go through each one of these about twice a day, and it's a little bit of a hassle filling them up waiting for the filter. So I love to have it done the night before, just so I don't need to worry about it in the morning. Now it's time to eat, and today is kind of a medium day, so I'm doing something that's a little bit low-key, but I'm still trying to be productive, going through emails, getting my calendar in order. On light days, I'll typically just watch a video and unwind, and on heavier days when I'm really feeling stressed, I still have to do flashcards or study or things like that. So honestly, it depends on the day. I usually like to unwind here one way or another, but it doesn't always happen. Either way, since this is the last meal of the day, I like to fully clean the kitchen because it helps me start off my morning the next day feeling fresh. I also find it pretty relaxing while I'm doing it at night, so that's a perfect combo to me. That doesn't take too long usually, and afterwards I typically turn off the lights and light a candle. I know it sounds super extra, but trust me, coming from someone who has never used or liked them in the past, it does a great job setting the mood. It's really relaxing, so just give it a shot if you haven't already. Oh, and by the way, the reason I turn off all the lights is because, at least for me, it's so much easier to fall asleep if I haven't been blasting myself with light, whether it be from my screens or otherwise. So if you haven't tried that already, it's a huge deal. It seems so simple, but it does make a huge difference. And I'll talk about how to reduce the light coming from your screens in a little bit. But for now, I'm gonna start my skincare routine, and I start it now for a few reasons. The first one has to do with what I just mentioned, and that's it's pretty hard to do your skincare routine in the dark. So I found that moving it up earlier makes a pretty big difference. The second thing is that when you have a bunch of skincare products on your face, you probably don't wanna be on your pillowcase right away. At least for me, it gets it dirty, and that's kind of counterproductive. The third reason is, and if I'm being honest, probably my most important reason, is that if I just finished a lot of work and I'm already missing out on sleep, the last thing on my mind is doing a skincare routine. And this way you make sure that it gets done, because I can't tell you how many times I've just skipped it all and went to bed. And by doing it this way, you're not as tired, you don't have as much of a reason to skip, you don't feel like it's the thing getting between you and that sweet sleep. So it's worked really well for me moving it up in my schedule. Maybe it won't for you, but I'd at least recommend giving it a shot. Now, this isn't any sort of sponsored video or even a skincare video, so I'm gonna show some of the products I'm using, but again, I'm not a doctor, I don't know anything, so I'm not recommending any of this stuff. I also don't know if it's gonna work for you. I always like to try new things for me, so I just put it in for anyone who's curious, but I'm not recommending any of these products or anything. But if you're curious, this is just what I'm using right now. What you see me putting on right now is a liquid exfoliant. That's what I usually do first after the cleanser. Again, the order can change. I'm still experimenting, but next I use some niacinamide. I think this has been pretty effective for me. I get redness quite often and quite easily, and over time, I think it's helped. It's kind of difficult to say because when you have more than one variable, it's like, is this working because of this product or the other one? I try to keep it as consistent as possible, but you never know if the new product is working or the old product is finally settling in. Again, don't listen to me. I'm just speaking my mind right now. But next is some moisturizer. This is probably the newest product in the lineup I'm using right now. So I don't know if it's gonna be effective or not. It's probably a week old or so. The rest I've been using for a while with pretty good results. Next, what you're gonna see is Retin-A, and this was prescribed by my physician. I highly recommend you consult with a doctor before using this, and even then, taking it easy when you do. This stuff can be seriously powerful if you use too much, and a lot of people think that, oh, I'm just gonna use more to get more results. No, your skin is gonna dry like crazy. Just trust me on this one. And the last thing that you're gonna see me do here is just put some conditioner in my hair. It's not gonna look pretty or anything. I just think this is a good time because I'm not really going anywhere at night. So, oh, and this is another reason I don't like to do this stuff right before bed, because you don't want conditioner right on your pillowcase. You want to give it some time to act. But that's pretty much all I do for my pre-bedtime ritual, I guess. Next thing you see here is a nightlight. So every Windows computer, and I'm sure Apple has this too, has this nightlight feature. Just look up nightlight in your search bar. And if you haven't tried it before, you're gonna be shocked, just like I was, how much better your eyes feel after this. You could also use some like blue light glasses, but if you don't have those, why not use this? I'm very guilty of blasting my eyes with blue light before bed. I try my best not to do it anymore, but already I can see some big improvements. And like I mentioned earlier, I typically like to unwind right before bed. Today I had to do a little bit more review, which is not the worst thing in the world. It's not new information, but it wasn't anything too bad. Last thing before bed is changing my pillowcase. I've mentioned this like 3 times so far. I don't know, for me, when you have had like acne and stuff like that in the past, you take every step you can. I change my pillowcase every night before bed. So I'm always washing those, and I have a ton of pillowcases. That was actually one of my best investments recently, in my opinion, because it's a huge hassle washing the same like 3 pillowcases over and over. So I just bought a ton of them. I bit the bullet, and it's made a pretty big difference. Now that's it for my nighttime routine. I think you'd really enjoy my apartment tour, and you'd really enjoy my day in the life video. So be sure to check those out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and peace. I'm scared.